Go ahead.
So this week, we watched a film called This Time Away. It's a sci-fi short film starring the amazing Timothy Spall and also an actress called Jessica Ellaby. And it's written and directed by a filmmaker called Magali Barbé. Excuse me if I can't pronounce her name right. It centers on a widower called Nigel, and it opens with him in his house, and there's dirty dishes. He's not looking after himself, and it looks like he just lost his wife. And then he comes across these kids kicking what we find out to be a robot on the ground, and this robot befriends him, and things happen from there. And he comes across as being very angry and in the throes of grief, and even he pushes away his daughter, but slowly he opens up, and with this robot, they kind of form a kind of a friendship. It's a really beautiful film. It's extremely touching, and yeah, it's a little gem of a film that has been winning a lot of awards, and it was filmed in 2019, just before the lockdown. But I think this could be very relevant to today because it's showing Timothy Spall's character. He's a lonely guy. He's on his own. He's pushing everyone away, and then this robot comes into his life, and I thought it was beautiful, like the pacing, the acting, even like the way you feel for this inanimate object. It's kind of magical film, and it's weird because I've never heard of it, and with such a massive actor in the lead, it's such a great find. So what do you guys think of it?
I hated it. Hated everything about it. It was off. No, I'm just kidding. You just spoke so positively. I felt I needed to be the complete opposite. Yeah. Go ahead, Cathal. I'll let you go.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
I know. All right, no.
Yeah, I know you always go last, and I'm like, we should really.
Yeah, well, this is my own film, I suppose. But first of all, I'd say it's labeled as a sci-fi, and obviously there's a robot in it. But in other respects, it doesn't necessarily have to be a robot. I felt it could have been a dog, or maybe a bird that he nursed back to health. I mean, all he kind of needed was a non-judgmental companion to take the edges off his grumpiness. I felt it was a bit predictable, the storyline. You kind of got this feeling that it was, he was going to progress into becoming, more likable character, and eventually kind of reconnect with his daughter. But it was beautifully made, and the pacing was very good and everything like that. But I wouldn't be as gushing about it, I'd say, as yourself. Right.
Did they say what the conflict was between him and his daughter? Like, I didn't really get that. Like, so I'm assuming his wife or somebody.
Oh, sorry. Oh, we lost Milo. Oh, sorry.
Nope, and that was cool.
God.
Like, Zoom just closed and
really
then
weird.
Relaunched.
Apologies, we actually lost Milo for a second. Yeah.
Zoom apparently did not like what I was going to say.
No, sorry. Okay.
So I was basically saying, like, it wasn't very clear, like, what the conflict between him and the daughter was, like, why he decided he didn't want to associate with her anymore, or anybody. I mean, I'm assuming it was the death of his wife or something like that. Yeah, the thing with it, it was a beautiful shot. Like, the art department did a great job. The cinematography was real lovely. The special effects of the robot was fantastically done, and they did a real good job of the interaction and stuff there. It's just, I kind of agree with you, Cathal. I think the story, I mean, how many times have we seen grumpy old man, living alone by himself, befriends neighbor kid, befriends something such, who then opens him up, and, everybody's kind of happy in the end. And that's, so that aspect of the story really kind of left me, but they did a good job of making up with it with the look of the film, and obviously having a very talented actor in the lead really helped. So yeah,
Yeah, and I think it is a script that's been done 100 times, and you see varying levels of success of executing the script. I think this is an example of it being done extremely well. Like, what really struck me was the writer director captured certain moments in it, like where, say, the robot making pancakes, or carrying the shopping and tucking him into bed, or he's on the couch asleep. And I thought those little moments done very well. And then he cleans up kind of a workstation that Timothy Spall's character, I think he was building toys or something. So but it's just, I think it's the execution of it that got me, and it was done to really high quality. You can tell a lot of money was put into this film. Like, it must have got a lot of funding, and it is, I think, even to do that robot special effects, I'd love to know how exactly they did it, because it was so realistic.
Yeah, they did a good job with the animation of the robot, and then then when he needed to interact with the robot, how they kind of shot it, where the arms coming in from side of the screen when the robot handed him the coffee shop, and so that balance of like actual practical effects mixed with the CGI was nicely done, and really nice looking.
Actually, slightly reminded me of the film we reviewed about the woman and her dog. Remember that film? I forget the name of it, but there was a woman and a dog, and we reviewed it. I can't exactly remember.
I was thinking of the Maisie Williams one, where Maisie Williams becomes friends with the cranky old neighbor guy.
Yes, that one as well. It's kind of similar territory to that. Yeah. And it's funny. The way I got it was, he's so in the middle of grief from his wife, and maybe his daughter reminds him of the wife. He's pushing everyone away, and he's really angry. So he's going through that stage of grief, and that's why he's pushing a daughter away.
But how long has he been going for grief? Because his workbench had been layers of dust and cobwebs on it, so it's definitely been a year or two.
It is a little bit confusing in that aspect of it, I suppose, but maybe he gave it up a lot earlier, and the grief seems fairly new. To me, it came across like that it's a kind of more recent death, but there was a little bit of confusion. I don't want to spoil it or anything, but the end left me a little bit confused. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. It was a nice review.
I got the feeling that I got the feeling that workshop was something, maybe like he seems to like he make toys for his daughter, so she's obviously grown up, and wonder about the relationship between him and the daughter. Like, why was it so frosty? And I suppose you can just surmise that maybe they had a footer, maybe she just moved from home and she didn't stay in touch or something like that. And but who knows? I mean, it's not that crucial, I suppose. I mean, the point is that he doesn't want her there, and he's just a cranky old guy, and there's something between them.
And it took a robot to break the ice of the crankiness.
And it's so it's a robot is so normal to him. So this is obviously something that is around everywhere. It's not like, oh my God, there's a robot in the house. So it's, I don't know when it was set in the future or something, or and it's
slight future kind of thing.
Yeah, because at the start he's like flicking the television with his hands. So obviously robots are normal, and so that was kind of interesting.
Well, the funny thing I noticed about the robot, which does kind of make it a real sci-fi, is that it does seem to have feelings. It does seem to have intelligence, because like it was grateful to him for saving him, and also it cleaned the shed as a sort of an act of kindness to coax him into it. So it seemed to imply that it was had a higher intelligence and maybe self-aware, which is quite scary in a way, like this idea that artificial intelligence, artificial life has kind of a level of intelligence. And also it was presented in a very benign way. This robot, it was kind of made to look cute, kind of small. When it was being beaten up by the kids, it didn't retaliate. So
and then it's put out in the rubbish as well.
You
And it
wonder
was
how
just
realistic
towering.
this is, because we all know that robots are going to kill us all and take over the world.
I love the way how he reveals the name. The robot is it couldn't speak. There was like a Maxwell coffee jar, and then so Timothy Spall is saying, "Oh, Maxwell, like what name is that?" And he just uses his fingers and just saying, "No, it's shorter than that, Max." It was just a lovely little moment, I thought, in the film.
Yeah, if you have a robot, though, you definitely want to be nice to it.
Oh, yeah.
So
it could turn on you.
Exactly. So the little robot could have, put something in his coffee or anything like that. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Never get a robot. Never.
And also, I thought it was like I thought it was, if he's supposed to be some sort of like home help robot, it seems to be quite impractical that he wasn't able to reach the hob.
Oh yes, that's true. So, and making little pancakes
when he was cooking the meal. I don't even remember. Yeah. You can only reach the front one.
Yeah, that's true. Like, what if the coffee was on a top shelf or something? Then the robot couldn't make coffee because he couldn't reach the coffee.
And he had a wheel, like he couldn't climb up on it. Anyway.
No, and his arms didn't stretch
Maybe
either.
his arms, I suppose. Yeah. That's just nitpicky, obviously.
It's about being cute and befriending a cantankerous old man.
But we all need a robot slave in our lives.
Yeah, especially now.
Now that we're all stuck alone in a home.
I know.
Robot.
But it is like an analysis of loneliness as well. Like you can feel it. You can feel the loneliness of him, and then the robot. Then it's like this is his friend, but it's his own fault as well being lonely in one way because his daughter. He's pushing away the daughter, so he's not entirely on his own.
Yeah, well, that's maybe a bit unfair. Like, I mean, he's living with his wife and probably very content, and you never, it's going to happen someday, but you never really kind of expect it at the same time. That's the funny thing about like technology. Like, we have all these devices and gadgets to supposedly make our lives easier, but we can't escape from our own issues, like relationships and loss and regret and anxiety and they're the good bits.
Yeah,
so
it's very true.
No robots are gonna like save us from ourselves.
But the nice thing is we die before the robot does, so we don't have to be sad with the robot dying.
That's true. Yeah. Unless they could rust though, couldn't they? They could.
Maybe depending on how they're made. Yeah. Okay. Well, Cathal, you want to go first? Or you want me to do it?
I'll go first. I don't mind. Like it was brilliantly made film, like the animation, CGI effects. But it is like you kind of, when you see a film like that, it's so well made. You judge it by a higher standard. Like you kind of like, okay, you nearly take it for granted the standard, the production values of it, and then you sort of look behind it at the acting and the story and everything like that. And as I said already, like this story kind of didn't really blow me away, so I'm going to give it 3 stars.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm kind of toss up between 3 or 3.5, but that we had recently that conversation about this is should we give it a different scale based on the quality of production, which clearly this had, and you're right. I mean, it had so much going for it, except for this super cliche story. I know, Claire, I know you loved it. Sorry to call that for me like cliche. So I'm gonna go 3.5. I'll do a half star since you did a full star. I'm doing a half star. I'm pulling a Cathal today. 3.5.
And for me, the story has been told before 100 different ways, but because it's told so well and there's some sort of beautiful moments in it, and it's really well acted with Timothy Spall. And I think this director, Magali Barbé, is going to be really big. She's represented, I looked up her website, by really big agents, and she seems to be like winning a lot of awards. So I think she's definitely one that is going to be a really big director in the future. So for me, I'll give it 4 stars.
Is that just sucking up, hoping that she'll hear this and cast you in something? Be like, oh, I think she's brilliant, and clearly cast the best for her films. And...
but I just think looking up, like, just I like to support women directors, and I do think you can see her talent in this. Like, she will go on to big things. You can see it in this short film, and getting Timothy Spall to perform and lead, you're definitely going to be up there in the future, so there's going to be really great things in this one.
All right. Yeah. Well, there you have it. No Budget audience. You can, of course, watch the film. We will throw the link into the notes. Let us know what you think via comment or review, and always feel free to reach out to us on social media, which is at No Budget Show on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. And with that, we will say, see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Are you just nodding, Colin?
Say goodbye. I don't know. Like...
But hairdressers aren't going to open until like June, probably. You know that? It's going to be...
that's tough.
Yeah, that's why I said last week to myself, I listened to the radio, and I was like, they said it won't open until June. So I was like, feck this. I'm cutting my own hair. I don't care. I'm proud of it. I really, it's even,
that's good.
Doesn't it? You wouldn't notice, you know what I mean? So I didn't go to the black market hairdressers. So don't worry.